The husband, who is a surgeon, picked his personal space over letting my dad, who doesn't have a home, stay with us. He asked for approval on Reddit, so I revealed how he wasn't taking care of our children properly. My wife, 37 years old, and I, 40 years old, are having a disagreement about her father, 65 years old, moving in with us. Here's some relevant background. We've been married for 10 years, dated for 3 before that, and have 2 kids. Her parents are divorced. Her mom comes from a wealthy family, and they did a lot of legal and financial stuff, like prenups to protect the money. Growing up, her mom was busy a lot, so her dad was the one who raised her. He did things like taking her to school, helping her with homework, and attending her events. When she was 12, her parents divorced due to her mom having an affair. Her mom's family's money helped her gain custody, leaving her dad with little to his name since he had neglected his own career while raising her. My wife has a strained relationship with her mother because of the affair and divorce. When she was a teenager, she chose to live with her dad, and they've remained close. Her dad has been an active part of our lives and spends a lot of time with our kids who adore him. He's been struggling financially because he couldn't work much, fell behind on bills, and is now facing eviction. My wife wants him to move in with us because she can't stand the idea of him being homeless when we have an unused basement. However, the basement is my personal space, designed as my retreat. I'm against the idea because I don't think he'll be homeless if we don't let him move in. He does have the option to stay with his sister, but she lives far away on the other side of the country. My wife strongly opposes this idea because she wants her father to be close to us and our kids, not across the country. I don't dislike him or anything. I just want some space for our own family. My wife believes that he's family and can help with the kids. She accuses me of prioritizing my personal space over her father's well-being, but that's an exaggeration. He won't be homeless. He can stay with his sister. However, this argument is getting heated, and she's threatening to leave with the kids if I don't agree to let him move in. I resent this ultimatum and am beginning to question if this is a battle worth fighting. On the other hand, I'm shocked and angry that my wife is willing to risk our entire marriage over this issue. Some comments suggest that I'm being selfish and should consider the impact on our children and my wife's relationship with her father. They argue that by insisting he stays with his sister, I'd be depriving our kids and my wife of precious time with him. If you have the space, why not make room? Let me ask you something. Does your wife have a dedicated space in your home for herself, where she can unwind or pursue her hobbies? If not, why not? Why should you be the only one with that luxury? Why is your man cave, let's call it what it is, more important than providing a home for the man who raised your wife? Why do you get to hog an entire basement just for your benefit? This is a significant issue for her, maybe the beginning of realizing she's married to a selfish man. To the husband, no, my wife doesn't have a space like that because she doesn't work in a high-pressure job like I do as a surgeon. She doesn't need a place to decompress after difficult days like I do. Others suggest, if you have a good relationship with your own parents, imagine if it was your dad facing homelessness. If not, it might be hard to understand, and it could lead to divorce. Your wife might learn from her own mom and end up with a house, kids, and her dad in the basement. Expect similar conversations in 20 years between your kids and their partners. Husband's response, I haven't had any contact with my dad in 22 years, and I couldn't care less if he was homeless. Even if he were in dire straits, I wouldn't bat an eye. I have no intention of seeing my father until he's in his coffin, and even then, I'll only attend his funeral to remind everyone of what a terrible person he is. She witnessed her mother strip her father of everything, even her, and she felt powerless to help. Today, she has the chance to make a difference, and it's important to her for this reason alone, along with the other reasons you've admitted to. She won't stand by and watch him suffer anymore. Today could be the breaking point for her, the reason she leaves you, because you're denying her the chance to help her father. Don't think for a second that she won't divorce you, because she will. You'll lose your wife, your children, your home, your happiness, and you'll be paying child support and alimony. So if that room is more important to you than all of these things, then go ahead and say no. But just know that you'll lose those treasures anyway, because you won't be in the house, but he will. Update, I'm going to talk to my wife about getting him an in-law suite in our yard that he can stay in permanently and give up the basement until we can build it. The comments have helped me see the most likely scenarios. Just so everyone knows whose side you're all taking here, my wife grew up privileged, but she still works and contributes. I'm a surgeon and she's an interior designer. People seem to overlook that she's capable and independent. Comment, why would you say such terrible things about your wife in public like this? It seems like you're lashing out because people on Reddit are calling you out for your behavior and suggesting you could handle the situation better. If you truly respected your wife, you wouldn't feel comfortable publicly criticizing her, especially knowing she'll see it. Your disrespectful words suggest that you're not interested in reconciliation or compromise. Instead, you just want validation for being right so you can continue neglecting your kids without making any improvements. Update: my husband, a surgeon, believes he's the most important person in the world, almost godlike, and too busy to be bothered by trivial matters like spending time with our kids. He insists on being secluded from their noise and joy when he's home, leaving my dad to pick up the slack. Dad changes diapers, picks them up from school, helps with homework, and even plays Santa and joins in their Easter egg hunts and tea parties. Despite my husband's disinterest in our kids, he's upset that they're closer to my dad. Now that my dad is struggling financially, we can help, but my husband refuses. He'd rather see my dad moved across the country and away from our kids. When I put my foot down, he turns to Reddit to complain about it. Now I'm here too, dear. If you want to air our marital issues on Reddit, I can do the same. Comment: your dad's a wonderful father and grandfather. Your kids adore him. He's been a constant presence in their lives since birth. They know him better than they know their own father. I'm not a stay-at-home parent. I have a job too. I'm the sole parent in this marriage, despite what everyone thinks. I work full-time but still find time for the kids. I handle morning routines and my dad takes over until I get home from work. The kids are home by 3 o'clock and I'm back by 6 o'clock. My dad stays until I arrive. My husband has no role in this. Husband's concern about the children favoring their grandparent over him shows a genuine desire to connect with his kids. Wife: I've heard this before, but nothing changes. He complains, says we'll talk about it later, and then conveniently has surgery or some medical conference out of state. We never actually discuss it. Comment: why aren't you complaining about the lifestyle he's provided for you? Wife: everyone acts like it's all his money, but it isn't. I work too, and my family helped us with the house and his medical school debt. Comment: wife replies to husband saying, I'm done. This isn't about the man cave or the space, and you know it. We have the means to help my dad. We live in a 7-bedroom house with a pool house and a movie theater. This isn't about space or money, it's about your jealousy that the girls are closer to my dad than you. Accept responsibility for neglecting the girls for 9 years. Your work shouldn't be more important than them. And when you're not at work, you're either golfing with your colleagues, attending medical conferences, or dragging me to fundraisers with your work associates. When you're home, you isolate yourself because the sound of our children playing bothers you. You conveniently forget that they're your children too, only remembering when I suggest moving my father in to help with them. It's astonishing how you can be both intelligent and foolish simultaneously. You're upset that the girls prefer dad over you, and your petty solution is to send him away, breaking their hearts, but you don't plan to be actively involved in their lives. You just want my dad gone. I won't allow you to remove him from their lives. Our family consists of me, the girls, and my father. Your family comprises your work colleagues, and you're married to your job, not me. Fine, you can have it. Don't bother coming home. Stay at the hospital or go to your horse house. Yes, I know about her and I don't care anymore. I'm done trying to salvage this marriage. I'm done begging you to be a father. The girls won't miss you anyway. You've never shown an interest in their lives, and I'm done allowing you to hurt and neglect my children. They deserve someone who loves and cares for them and shows genuine interest in them. If you want to continue this on Reddit, go ahead. Alright, let's settle this on Reddit. I'm divorcing you. We're finished. Go ahead and save the world. You're free now. By the way, you're even worse than your parents. They may have been odd and misguided, but at least they were present in your life. And now he wants to discuss this in private. Well, he's the one who brought it here, honey. He can deal with the consequences of his actions. Update: wow, this situation escalated quickly. I was furious when I posted this, but now I just feel drained. He came by yesterday to collect some belongings and we argued. I made sure the girls were out with my dad because I knew it would be a heated argument and I didn't want them exposed to it. He said some truly awful things about me, my dad, and the girls. After he left, I spoke to my mom. Our relationship is complicated, but if there's one person I want on my side during this divorce, it's her. The divorce is happening. I consulted with a lawyer today, the one my mom recommended. I'm incredibly grateful that we went through with that prenup my mom insisted on when we got married. At this point, I won't be speaking directly to my soon-to-be ex-husband. My lawyer will handle all communication. I'm utterly exhausted, but I want to thank everyone for their support. Reading your comments helped me feel empowered, knowing that people were on my side. Despite his hurtful words yesterday, I'm not angry anymore. I'm utterly heartbroken. Our girls deserve so much more than this. I always hoped for a better life for them, just a happy family and a cozy home. Now we're going through a divorce mirroring my parents' situation. I never wanted this outcome. I fought so hard to keep our family intact and prevent this from happening, but I failed. When I met him, he was in medical school and working as a paramedic. He moved into my apartment and I covered the expenses so he could focus on his studies full-time. He didn't have an issue with my career as an interior designer back then, nor did he resent my trust fund when it supported us. Comment: what was his self-admitted reason for marrying you, OP? Response: honestly, he never explicitly stated a reason. As for my dad's outstanding rent, it's not about space or money as he claimed. His ultimate goal was to remove my father from our lives. Any solution that kept my dad in our lives was met with resistance from him. He wasn't like this when we first met, and despite the challenges in my relationship with my mom over the years, I never doubt her love for me. We've had our fair share of disagreements and arguments, but when I need her, she always comes through, just like she's doing now, and as she did during our wedding. I'm grateful for her foresight in having the prenup made, although what she did to my dad will never sit right with me. Despite that, she's in my corner, and right now I'm thankful to have both my parents supporting me. I don't want the girls living with someone they're afraid of. The situation was only bearable because of how little he was around. Comment: I understand the feelings of failure that come with divorce. It's how society and culture have conditioned us. I always said I never considered divorce but contemplated murder. Sometimes failure can be liberating. While I felt like the failure for getting a divorce, I also felt free from society's expectations. You chose this man believing in his promises. He failed to be a good dad, husband, and decent human being by bad-mouthing his own children. Maybe you failed in some aspects, but without this marriage, you wouldn't have these children. That's a significant positive aspect. Perhaps in the future, there might be someone better suited for you. Response: my mother, a widow, waited until my sister and I left for university. I don't think my failure was in having my kids with him, it was in trying to maintain this marriage and providing him with a home and family he eventually wanted to return to. Update: hi everyone, I'm back. My husband is now my ex-husband. In our state, you only need 30 days between filing and judgment, and we both agreed that divorce was the best option. He moved out on New Year's Day and hasn't returned since. My original post gained quite a bit of attention. My post ended up being shared on TikTok and Facebook, and our family and friends saw it. Upon advice from my lawyer, I stopped posting about the divorce until it was finalized. Well, the divorce is now official. After he moved out, we each retained our own lawyers, and most of the divorce proceedings were handled through them. We didn't communicate much until the final arbitration, where we signed the agreements to present to the judge. About a week after I hired my attorney, we arranged for his attorney and some movers to come to my house. Together, we inventoried everything that belonged to him, including items in his man cave, packed it up, and shipped it out to a storage unit his lawyer had arranged. I didn't want to give him any reason to come after me for anything. Although some people wanted me to seek revenge, I didn't want a prolonged and bitter divorce. He wanted to leave, and I wanted him gone, so we both wanted the process to happen as quickly as possible. As it turned out, he was offered a job in another state, and he was eager to accept it and leave town. We both had prenuptial agreements in place, which made the division of assets relatively straightforward. He had no issues with granting me full custody and paying child support, although I didn't request any spousal support. The fact that he didn't put up much of a fight for our girls was the most painful aspect for me. Our biggest disagreement centered around the house, but my mom stepped in to buy him out of his share of the mortgage payments, ensuring that me, the girls, and my dad wouldn't have to relocate. He was eager to finalize everything quickly so he could move on with his affair partner and start his new job, and that's precisely what happened. He got the outcome he desired, free from me and the kids, ready to pursue his career aspirations. Both my mom and dad played crucial roles in supporting me during this time. Mom, being a lawyer herself, ensured that the house and my other assets were protected and even helped me secure legal representation. Meanwhile, Dad moved into the pool house where he'll be staying. He's looking forward to spending his golden years as pop to our girls and as a father figure to me. I'll ensure that he won't have to worry about anything. My daughter recently celebrated her 10th birthday, and although my husband had promised to fly out for it, I made sure to make the party extra special. I went all out for my daughter's 10th birthday. We had performers, rented a bouncy castle, and invited all her classmates over. Most of my family attended, and surprisingly, my mom and dad were able to be in the same place without any arguments. We had an amazing time, but sadly, he never showed up. The day after her party, she received a card from him with a half-hearted apology. Update 5. I'm grappling with what to tell my daughters, aged 10 and 7, about their father. My ex-husband was never very involved as a father. Being a surgeon, he spent most of his time working or socializing with his colleagues. He wasn't around much, and when he was, he preferred to be left alone in his man cave. He didn't appreciate the girls being loud or playful, so they always felt like they had to tiptoe around him. He didn't show much interest in their lives. Now that our divorce is finalized, he couldn't wait to move on. He didn't want custody of the girls and hasn't seen them since he left 2 months ago about to start a new job in another state with his affair partner. On my oldest daughter's 10th birthday, he promised to be there but never showed up. Instead, he sent a card with a weak apology and a gift card the day after her birthday. I felt terrible for her, but she wasn't even upset. She shrugged it off, saying she wasn't surprised and that dad didn't really love them. I'm at a loss for words. I don't know whether to lie to them and say he's just busy, or to tell them the truth that he doesn't really love them. Should I bring it up with them or just carry on as usual, pretending like nothing has changed? He hasn't been a significant part of our lives for a long time, so not much has changed for the girls, except that they don't have to walk on eggshells around him anymore. Both girls are in therapy now, and maybe this is something I should discuss with their therapist.